In this tutorial, what we're going to do is look at how to use the drill correctly for the soldering lessons. Okay, I've got my PCB just here, and this is the drill. To turn it on and off, there's actually a button on the side of this drill that you can't see, which is, if you follow my finger around, just on the back here, and there's a green button to turn it on, and there's a red button to turn it off. Before you actually do anything, make sure you know where those are, so you can turn it off if you've got a problem. Also, before you drill, you'll want to make sure that you've got nothing like any dangly jewellery or dangly bracelets or anything like that on here, so that nothing's going to get caught up in the drill and cause you any problems. With this particular drill, we're going to need to use a 3mm drill bit to drill a hole, and the hole that we're going to drill today is going to be in this bottom sort of left-hand corner. Okay, it's just here. It's one hole all by itself, just to the left of the B in BGS. Okay, so that's where your hole's going to have to go. Now, at the moment, when I look at this drill just here, the drill bit that's in here is actually too big. This is far more than 3mm. So what I need to do is come out to my box of drill bits that I've got, which is around about just here. Okay, and you'll see at the moment that the number 7, the 7mm bit is missing. So obviously this is a 7mm in here. What you need to do is get hold of this. This is called a chuck key. Okay, and the way the chuck key works to change a drill bit is a bit like this. You insert the chuck key into what's called the chuck. You'll see some holes around the drill. Okay, and once that's in there, you then just grip the drill bit very, very gently and just give it a sort of a quarter turn, a bit like that, and that'll loosen that off. The reason I'm holding this is if I don't, then it'll just fall out and it'll drop away. So you just keep hold of that. So I'm going to put the 7mm drill bit away, and I'm going to take out the 3mm drill bit instead, which I'm going to place into the bottom of the chuck, and then just with my fingers, okay, and as I do this, I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not, but you can actually see the bottom of the chuck actually coming down to receive the drill bit, and that's where the drill bit needs to go. So I'm going to poke that in there, and then do it up just finger tight, okay, like that, so it doesn't drop out anymore. I can then get my chuck key again, put that back in the chuck, and again just give it a tiny little turn. It's not about being the world's strongest man or woman when you try and do this. Once you've changed the bit, what you're then going to do is to put the shield back down, okay, and then we're going to do a quick test fire with the drill just to make sure the drill bit's spinning round and it's not spinning and spinning from one side to the other. It's just spinning around a neat circle. So let's take a look. Okay, so yeah, that's spinning pretty good. The next thing I need to do now is actually move the bed of the drill, because at the moment it's been adjusted to work with a far bigger drill bit. And what I don't really want to have to do is to have to spin this and spin this and spin this and spin this in order to get down to my PCB, okay? I need to be able to adjust that manually. So at the back of the drill, there's a nice little handle just here, which is this thing. And by rotating that while holding the bed of the drill, okay, by rotating that just a little bit, that will suddenly become loose, like so. And then move that up. Okay, I don't want it too close to the actual drill bit, but maybe sort of 20 or 30mm. And then again, just gently tighten that off. And again, you'll notice when I did tighten that off, I wasn't straining or anything like that. Once you've adjusted the bed, just give that another quick move, just to make sure it goes cleanly through the hole in the middle of the bed, so you don't end up trying to actually drill the drill bed. Okay, so we're now ready to actually do our drilling, and the way I'm going to do that is start by putting my safety specs on, because that's jolly important, so they go on. And what I also then do is I make sure I hold my workpiece, my PCB, firmly at all times. I'm just using 2 fingers to hold that on the bed, and I'm making sure that I don't drill a hole through my fingers as well, okay? So do make sure that they're well out of the way. So when I do that, I'm going to be grabbing hold of the handle here. You're going to hold it from the top, which you can't see currently in the video. Okay, I'm just moving it from the bottom just so you can see it. But hold it from the top, and when you do drill through, come through nice and slowly and let the machine do the work. What you're not trying to do is to stab through like this, because it's bad for the drill, it's bad for the bit, and it'll rip your PCB up. So do make sure that you actually let the drill do your cutting. So here we go. So power on. Drill down. So you can see that actually worked pretty well. I've got my nice neat 3mm hole that's inside my PCB like so, and I'm now done with this drill. When you're finished with it, just leave the lid down like that, brush away any of the excess swath that's come off as well, just so it's nice and clean, ready for the next person. So that is how we use the pillar drill. Okay, so what we're now going to do is take a look at using the precision drills instead. We've actually got 2 different sorts that you might come across. This is the first one. This one's very, very similar to the pillar drill in terms of how you actually change the bits. We've got a chuck key, just like we've seen before, okay? And if I wanted to change the bit in here, again I can put that into the chuck, loosen it off, take the bit out, and then tighten it up once I'm finished. With this particular one, to turn it on and off, it's got a transformer, which is this box. You can possibly just about make it in the background, and that's where you choose what speed you want to drill at. As you might remember from having done this before, is you always drill on the maximum possible speed. To turn this drill on and off, you first of all turn on the transformer, which is over on the left hand side. It's a switch that'll bring a light on, and what you can then do is flip the switch on the underside of the drill here to turn it on and off. When you're using this drill, there's a white handle at the back of the drill, which again we can push down to actually raise and lower the drill into the workpiece. Okay, so that's how we do this particular one. We can also remove the drill at any time we like by loosening off this bolt, which is just here, and then very, very carefully twisting to remove the drill so that we can change the bit more conveniently before putting it back in. Let's just pop that back in there ready for the next person. So this is one of the drills we've got. The other drill type that you might come across, let's just move this out of the way, is one of these. Okay, this is the Proxon drill. Now, with this particular drill, what we've got instead is a slightly different way of using the drill. Now, obviously, you've got to make sure it's turned on at the wall. The actual power for this one is on the top of the drill, which is just here. Okay, and you can turn that on and off from there. Again, always drill at the maximum speed. At the back of the drill, there's a black handled sort of bit just here, which allows you to raise and lower the drill. And what you've also got as well is here at the back, you've got a manual adjustment, so I can loosen that off and raise and lower the overall height of the drill, which again sometimes might be something you'll want to do. Whenever you tighten up and loosen off the Proxon drill, it's designed to be worked with very, very on precise work. Again, please don't go over tightening anything, otherwise if you do that, you can have a real problem. It's going to break the drill, and these things are really expensive. So let's look at how we change the drill bit that's in here, because for my soldering license, one of the things that I need to have is a couple of 1.6mm holes, so we have to be able to change the drill bit. The 1.6mm holes that you're going to want to include are found just here. Okay, it actually says 1.6mm. It's not in focus, but that's not important. It's just here, okay, and it's either side of where it says 1.6mm. So let's change this drill bit. I need to loosen this off. Okay, you don't need to remove this completely, just loose like I've got here. You then grasp this firmly, hold the base, and just gently twist it left and right, like so, until it comes out. Once it comes out, what we'll then need to do is to find this button, which is located just here, and I'm going to pinch and hold that in, and if you listen carefully you'll actually hear a little click as I start to loosen this off. With the drill bit facing away from me, I'm turning anti-clockwise, I think. No? Clockwise? Yeah, clockwise to loosen it off, okay? Like that. Very, very gentle, and it then means once it's loose, I can slide the bit out. I'm going to pop that to one side. Now, because I'm actually changing it for a different sized bit, the way this drill works is somewhat different. We have these things instead here which are called collets, okay, these collets, and these are designed to actually put different drill bits into. I've got my 1.6mm drill bit just here. You can measure this with a caliper to confirm it's the right size. And what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to try and put this into each of the different collets until I find the smallest sized hole in the collet that it'll fit into. So in my particular case it's this one just here. Okay, you can see that that's sliding in and out there. So this is the collet I need to use. I'm just going to pop that up there just so you've got that for a second. I'm going to go back to my drill. I'm pinching and holding down the button again. I'm now rotating it and rotating it more and more, and eventually this piece will come off. I need to keep that safe, so again I'll just pop this up here. And you've now got another collet which is inside here. So I'm going to take that collet, put it back in the collet store just here. Really important you do that, because if we lose these, then we lose the ability to use the drill. I'm going to take out the collet that I want to use next. I'm going to place that back into the drill. Don't need the drill bit in at this time. And I'm then going to put the top part, the cap, back over there. Let's find that button again. And just a little bit, just to get it started, I'm just starting to tighten that up. I'm now going to put in my new drill bit that I want. Slide it down sort of about that much. You can leave a bit out, it just needs a bit that it can grip onto. Okay, and then tighten that up till it stops spinning in my fingers. Once it gets there, I'm just going to give it maybe a quarter, less than that even, of a turn. Okay, you see that? I didn't strain, I didn't try and yank it and lock it in place. I'll then take my finger off the button, and that's going to spin hopefully really nicely and be put in place. I'll put the collets back to one side where they're going to be safe, and I'm going to remount the drill. Same process as before, gripping firmly just here and spinning left and right until it sits nicely in its sort of mount. And what I can then do is I can tighten this up about that much. Okay, again, I'm not looking to tighten it up an insane amount. That then gives me the ability to come down here now and start to drill. I'm just going to double check that my drill still goes through the hole in the bed, because a lot of people, it's very easy to mark it up like that. And I'm going to line things up, hold my workpiece down firmly with 2 fingers, and then turn it up to full speed, making sure I'm wearing goggles and my apron, and I've got nothing dangling, and I'm going to drill these 2 holes. Okay, so that went through really neatly. You can see when I did that as well, hopefully, you saw that I was actually moving the drill just with 1 finger. Okay, I was using 1 finger to drill that through. When you are drilling as well, you'll notice you didn't hear the drill as it was coming down, because again I wasn't drilling too fast, just going through nice and slow and smooth and steady. Now I've actually done that, I can swap this back to the 1mm bit again and drill every single other hole on this board now. So when you see me in the next tutorial, I'll have everything here drilled out. Okay, so I'll see you then.